going to take you on a journey looking at German World War II wonder weapons. Let's start with an aircraft which was a real game changer. The Messerschmitt 262. It made every other piston engine fighter obsolete. It was 100 miles an hour faster than Spitfires and Mustangs. The 262 was armed with 4 30mm cannons, and it was designed to attack the Allied bomber formations. One of the reasons given for the Messerschmitt 262's late appearance during the war was Hitler's insistence on it being converted to carry bombs for a fighter-bomber role. I don't think this was the main issue. Most World War II aircraft were adapted to carry bombs. The reason, I think, for the long production delays was the very thing that gave the 262 all its advantages: its engines. There were two types. There was centrifugal and axial flow. The Germans went for axial flow jet engines. All modern jet engines are this type. In the 1940s, the technology used in the British centrifugal jets was a lot more reliable, if less powerful. The Gloster Meteor's engines could last for 100 hours, as opposed to the Messerschmitt 262's 12 to 20. But I'm not going to take away from the fact that this streamlined, swept-wing jet fighter was the most formidable World War II aircraft. The Arado 234 was initially designed as a reconnaissance aircraft, but it became the world's first jet bomber. The Arados were used to attack Allied troop positions in 1945. They attacked the Remagen Bridge, which had been captured by American forces, but they did fail to destroy it. An Arado 234 managed to damage a 616 Squadron Gloster Meteor during an attack on Mulesbrook Airfield, but it was not quite the first jet versus jet combat. The Arado used rocket pods to assist takeoff when it had a bomb load, and was also one of the first aircraft fitted with a drag parachute to shorten the landing run. The next jet is the Heinkel 162. This was known as the Volksjäger, a people's fighter. It was a lightweight fighter built from wood, and it was easy to build using carpenters. It was intended to be able to be flown by inexperienced pilots trained on gliders. It did have some early structural problems due to its lightweight wooden construction. The 162 was strengthened, and the glue that they used was improved. It was a good lightweight fighter with great performance, and 1,000 were found in underground factories when the war ended. The V1 and V2 were revenge weapons. The V1 flying bomb was the first cruise missile. It was powered by a pulse jet engine. The airflow was forced into a chamber and ignited. The explosion closed the front shutters, forcing the air out of the jet pipe. After the pulse, the shutters opened again, and the cycle repeated itself. The initial airflow was caused by the rocket being launched by a catapult to build up the initial speed. The first of these missiles were fired at England in June 1944, and there was a preset mechanism that set the direction and range. The V1 flew in a straight line at speeds between 300 and 400 miles per hour and could be intercepted by Allied fighters and shot down by anti-aircraft guns. The V2 was a completely different matter. It was the first intercontinental ballistic missile. After ignition, the rocket reached a speed of 3,000 miles an hour and the height of 60 miles, entering space. It was the first man-made object to fly into space, and this was in 1942. In 1944, V2s were launched against England, and these could not be intercepted. After the war ended, the rocket scientist Werner von Braun and his colleagues were taken to the USA, eventually building the Saturn rockets, which took man to the moon. The rocket fighters. Bakem Natter was a point defence rocket fighter. It was launched vertically. It achieved a speed of 400 miles per hour and then released a battery of unguided rockets at its targets. It was also made of wood, and after the fuel ran out, the pilot and rocket engine were parachuted back to Earth. It was a very dangerous project. Luckily for its future pilots, the war came to an end. The Messerschmitt 163 Comet was another rocket-powered short-range interceptor. It achieved a speed of 620 miles per hour, which was the magic 1,000 kilometers per hour. The tailless design was by Alexander Lippisch, who built flying wing gliders before the war. The Walther rocket motor was used to two propellants which had to be delivered separately due to their corrosive and explosive nature when they got mixed. It was the fastest flying machine of World War II, but eventually the point defence interceptor would be replaced by the surface-to-air missile. And flying wings. Hermann Göring set out a future aircraft project that was called 3x1000. A 1,000-kilogram bomb load was required, a 1,000-kilometer range, and a 1,000-kilometer speed. The Horton brothers had developed a series of flying wing gliders. They saw that using a jet engine would be a perfect fit into their pure flying wing design. The design did fly successfully, although one prototype was lost due to engine failure. The wing was long and thin, and this increased stability. One prototype does survive in America at the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum, where it's being restored. And the flying wing design lives on as America's B-2 stealth bomber. Now, the next wonder weapon may not have even existed at all. It may just be science fiction. I'll give you some facts. There are drawings and plans for flying discs, and the Nazis did build underground secret bases for their advanced projects. Nazi scientists escaped after World War II and ended up working on the American space program. And there was a base established in Antarctica before World War II. And now the fiction. The elite Nazi scientists flew their anti-gravity powered flying saucers to a secret base in Antarctica after World War II. The American expedition in 1946, Operation High Jump, was not just to test military equipment in cold conditions. It was also to investigate and find the secret Nazi base in Antarctica. And was the captured flying disc Was it taken to Roswell for testing, but resulted in the mysterious incident in 1947? We shall never know. So thank you for watching my little tour of Nazi secret projects, wonder weapons. I hope you've enjoyed the tour. Thank you very much if you've subscribed. I do appreciate you watching. And just remember one thing. If you do get interested in Nazi science projects, it is like opening a Pandora's box. There are so many. It will draw you in. You have been warned.